over her registration. So I had her artificially inseminated, shipped. It's crazy. 2,000 bucks for the sperm for them to implant
Oh
it.
my goodness. And I think we're live.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good intro. There we go. We're
Great.
live.
We're live.
Welcome to the best Patriots pregame show
Ever.
out there right now.
Exactly. Good Patriots. I like that. We're the Patriots pregame show.
We're the best one going.
Sundays at 7. Whoop, whoop.
Happy Sundays at 7. What's up, Jess? How we doing?
We're doing good. I gotta stream us and then I gotta share it, and I can never find it sometime to.
You got a little break from boxing this week?
I know, but I gotta tell you, Michael, I was kind of sad.
I was sad too. It
Murph was sad. Linda was sad.
It was horrible news Friday evening when our fearless leader said he was sick. So
I know it was because I got my new boxing gloves. I was so excited to show off.
But we'll be back. We'll be back next week, raising money and helping people and using that as an outlet for people who need some type of release on a Saturday morning.
Sorry, I'm just posting with Huge Recovery. And can I say an MAT advocate, Paul? Will that work for you?
Sure.
Medication assisted treatment advocate. Let me see. Paul. Okay. So Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions mission is to raise funds and awareness to help connect people into treatment, access to recovery coaches in the community, more accessibility to treatment for veterans, and to help scholarship people into sober living. Boom, boom.
Nailed it. And please call us. We're still available. You could call any one of us. We can share our phone numbers. You could contact any one of us on Facebook or any social media platform that you see us on. Myself, Jessica, Julie Bunch, Deb Moore, Linda, Richie Evans, Kim, Mandy McGowan. Am I forgetting anyone?
Did you say the Wolf?
The Wolf, of course. Yeah, I said the Wolf. So reach out to any one of us for, help with accessing treatment, proper level of care, proper quality level of care, along with recovery coaching and family consulting and whatever your needs may be at the time. We're here to listen. We're here to help.
And then already hi to Pat. It's nice to see you, Pat. He just commented, hey, and Sienna Crawford.
So hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Please, comment, ask us questions, anything you find interesting about this, or maybe something you don't find interesting, but just let us know. Right?
So tonight, I'd like to introduce our guest and thank him for coming on the show, Paul Bowman. His current role is recovery coach for the South End Community Health Center, but his resume is pretty lengthy in the treatment world, the advocacy world. Paul, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your addiction story, your recovery story, whatever topics you want to go into.
Sure. I kind of have two of them because there was back in the 90s when I had the crack cocaine addiction story, and then recovery and did all that, running out at 2:00 in the morning to get beat for a 40, all that kind of crap. I think, Mike, did you ever beat me? I don't think so.
No, I'm a little too young to beat you in the 80s.
Probably.
You're too young to have. It's funny when I meet someone at a meeting, I'm like, you beat me, I think. Anyway, so like craziness. I was a DJ at a gay bar in Boston. So I worked from midnight to 2 a.m. I worked at Avalon on Sundays for a while.
Oh, Avalon. Yep.
Remember those days? So
yeah, I'm old enough for Avalon. That's for sure.
So, I'm not.
Yeah, remember
yes, you are.
The Special K and the ecstasy and spending all my money while the AIDS epidemic was actually going on. And I started working in 1988 at the Department of Public Welfare, which then became the Department of Transitional Assistance. And then 28 years later, 2 years ago, I retired from that job, but kept it the whole time because they thought I had HIV instead of a crack addiction. How about that?
Wow.
And I never said I didn't. And that was one of my big, 4-step things that I had to like.
Man.
It was really horrible to say, to pretend. Well, I never said I was, but I never said I wasn't.
Right.
People
Right.
would see me at 110 pounds, it's like with a cough. Do you have pneumonia? I'm like, I don't know.
Dishonesty by omission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like still alive, and they're like, "Why are you still alive? Everybody else is dead." And I'm like, I guess I have to tell you a story. So that was a lot of guilt too, though. So I got through that with a lot of real, 12-step programs, and I had 2 years in recovery, and then I had, I'd say back in 1998, a surgery for gynecomastia, which is a tumor in my breast. And the doctor gave me pain meds, which should have been for 5 days, for 4 years. Okay.
Wow.
What?
Injectable pain meds, Demerol injectable pain meds, Oxycontin, oxycodone, whatever, Dilaudid, you name it. So I was on it, and I was like hooked with. He gave me syringes, this doctor, and it's because he was just naive. Just doctor shopping, found somebody didn't know where they just came into this country. I actually felt like it was my fault that he was being misled, but he probably had some responsibility into treating pain. That was an acute post-surgical pain for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was still, I mean, I was practically telling him how to write the prescriptions.
Yeah.
In my own medicines to pharmacies, and eventually getting caught writing a script for Dilaudid with a stolen script, and didn't have to go to jail, but had to go on probation. So that really scared me to death. And I just couldn't stop. I would go to meetings, but go to treatment. And then when I'd come out, I would just relapse. So some doctor said to me, remember Dr. Kishore?
I remember. I was a patient.
Yeah, so he went to jail.
Yeah.
Because he stole all these millions of dollars from Medicaid. Hope we're not going to get sued for this Facebook Live. So bad things. So he went to jail for a couple of years because he made $9 million in urines that he billed out. So anyway, he said to me, "Hey, you are just not doing well. I think you need to have the life sentence. Are you ready for the liquid handcuffs?" And I said, "I think I'm ready for the liquid handcuffs," which we know what that means, a lot of us, which is methadone back then.
Methadone, yeah.
And I started going to methadone, and believe it or not, methadone worked for me. I stopped using.
Yeah.
I didn't use any more opiates.
Yeah.
I didn't smoke any crack. And then I was at the Shattuck, which was a real horrible place to get treated. It's better now. And still working for the state, and but I was showing up for work every day now too. I gained weight. Methadone has a lot of side effects.
Yeah.
And you sweat, your sexual libido goes through the floor. So it's not the most fun drug to be on, but it definitely kept me alive, So it kept me, and the nurse, I remember the first day I went in there and I said, "I'm going to have 14 take homes." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure you are."
Sure you are, yeah.
Yeah, well, I got 14.
Keep coming.
Got him, yeah.
So it really worked for me. And then I heard about a program at BMC where they gave you 28-day take homes, right?
Wow.
It was a really like an experimental pilot. So I got onto that program, and I met this woman named Colleen LaBelle, this nurse who's a real big, powerful nurse now in Boston. And she directs a lot of programs. And she got me into this 28-day program. And then buprenorphine was developed, dated 2000. So 2003, buprenorphine hit the street, and I was on 110 milligrams of methadone, and they say you need to get down to 30.
Yeah.
I didn't get down to 30. I left at 100.
Oof.
Got sick for a week, started on buprenorphine, and I've been fine ever since. Natalie's going to start barking, you guys. Just
Tell her to come say hi.
And I think my dog knocked something over downstairs, but I'm pretending it didn't happen. I hear Connor going, "No."
Yeah, you have to just keep the door closed and ignore it all.
That's exactly what I'm doing, Mike. The door's
That's what I do.
Pretend that nothing's happening.
She's so black, you can barely see her, right?
I know.
Hey, girl.
I see her ears though. Hi, Mama.
Anyway, so you have to be quiet. Is that okay?
So actually, quickly before this is a good chance to so Teresa Legerio. Hi, Teresa. That's my mom. She said, "Happy Sunday, everyone."
She's watching from the first floor.
Oh, she's still up here. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's still up here. Yeah.
Chris Chevalier said, "Hello, all." So hi.
Hello.
Chris. And then I think that's it. Yep, that's it for now.
Okay, so I got on the buprenorphine, and that got rid of a lot of side effects. No sweating, no this, no that, and eventually I got take it every month. So I've been on that since until this past January, when I actually got off of it. So I've been off of it for 6 months now.
Wow.
I get off this really cool way that nobody knows about yet, how to get off of buprenorphine without any problems. That it's only anecdotal, so I can't really tell you, but it had something to do with getting that shot. All right. So I got the subblockade shot, which is every month, and 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and I didn't go back, and I haven't had a withdrawal symptom. So
wow.
We don't know how long stuff lasts, but still popping positive for buprenorphine every month when I do a urine. So maybe it's in your system forever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you did. So you took your last month injection, and you haven't had another injection since 6 months.
Exactly.
Wow.
Since January. So it's been 9 months.
And how long were you on it?
Since 2003.
Okay, so math is not my strong suit.
So that's like 17.
So 17 years.
Yeah. So I mean, and I tried to get off of it before, just because, I felt like I should be able to get off of it, but it's a bitch to get off that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyone ever tried to get off of it, and you know how sick you get, and for how long you get sick? I walked off methadone a few times. You get really, really sick. So so far so good, but I don't recommend this for anyone. There's no data to prove what I did will work for anybody else. This is just an anecdote that I'm telling you guys that I probably shouldn't have even shared with you.
No.
I just don't want people all to jump off buprenorphine.
Jump off the sublocade.
The first month, because a lot of people it probably doesn't work for. If you're skinny, if you haven't been on for a long time, maybe I have enough Suboxone in my fat cells for the rest of my life. I don't really know. but so since I got off, though, even more of my side effects have gone away. Oh goodness, Natalie.
Natalie.
Again. So I know she's just such an attention whore.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my basic story as far as my recovery. And I'm also, I've been supporting people who are on methadone or buprenorphine. I'm the chapter director for the Massachusetts National Alliance for Medication Assisted Recovery, because there are so many of us that do well on this and nobody gets to see us.
Yeah.
I was in line with nurses and lawyers and teachers, and I loved it. I was recently at a place where they're trying to cite a new clinic, and they're like, well, what about the kids? I'm like, well, the teachers are in line, so I don't think the kids are going to have a problem with the methadone clinic being over there.
And
yeah, right.
And I completely get that. I was someone who was on prescription methadone for a long time, and I got off it successfully, but it also saved my life. And, I think I've said this on here before, like, prescription methadone, and that's why I always try to say prescription methadone, because it's a prescription, and if you're not abusing it, you're not trying to get high off of it, you're just trying to go get what your prescription is and go about your business. You're not seeing the people who are on take homes. You're not seeing the people who are up there at 5:00 in the morning because they have jobs. Those aren't the people you're seeing. So it has such a bad connotation with it, because you think that, I hate this, how they call it, but methadone mile, right? Recovery road. Those aren't people. You can't just think that that's what people are like when they're on prescription methadone, because it's not true. But you also, as someone being on it, you get so afraid to say, listen, I was on this, because you're afraid people are going to say, oh, you're not sober, you're not this, you're not that. So I really hold a lot of value to what you're saying, as someone who for so long was so afraid to be like, well, yeah, I was on it for, years, until I finally was able to do it the right way and taper off. And I feel fine. I felt fine for a long time now. But it's so scary because you don't hear the people talking about getting off it because there's such a stigma involved with even saying you were on it to begin with.
And there's a stigma people don't even want to be on. I met this mom about a year ago who his daughter was on Suboxone, buprenorphine, and she had committed a crime, and her judge, the judge said, "You can't be on buprenorphine in my court," and 4
Really?
weeks
Wow.
she died of an overdose.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like, so, and I'm sure the family is suing the court now. So it's like, should judges be able to decide what your medication should be? I don't know. We still have drug courts, I think, in Massachusetts that don't believe in that, and we have prisons that are offering it, and I just think we need to just make sure people have these warm handoffs. Some of them still will only do Vivitrol, and with Vivitrol, I'm all for that. But if you don't have somebody making sure that person gets the next shot, they're as good as dead,
Right.
more so than any of the other drugs,
Right.
that you can take. I mean, it's so dangerous. It's way above the other rates. Buprenorphine probably has the highest success rate, then methadone, and then Vivitrol. But I mean, you're getting it in prison, yeah, granted, but or jail, but if you leave there, you're so naive and you do one bag of fentanyl, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
Somebody
You're
better
dead.
just be handing them off, and they're not getting the warm handoff, So maybe they should even not even take Vivitrol to begin with. I don't know what's better, but I know that they offer it in some of the jails. I think in Barnstable County.
That's what Robin, our guest last week, was saying, like about the warm. They need a better warm handoff to a place that it's not just, because Suboxone, whether it's Suboxone or buprenorphine or Vivitrol or prescription methadone, in my opinion, that's a Band-Aid for a stab wound, right? That takes away some of it, but you got to still work on yourself as well to figure out what's going to prevent you from getting, from keeping away from the next drink or a drug.
It's like, that saying in AA, if you hang around a barber shop long enough, you're eventually going to get a haircut, right?
Right.
So that's the same around with the people who use drugs. A bigger part of my story is, I had recovery, but, when you go into a clinic, a methadone clinic, they make you leave after you dose, so you really don't get to build any community. I was working in Brockton, and I started going to the Stairway to Recovery, which is in Brockton, and that really gave me the first sense of community that I'd had in a long time. And I don't know if you guys know Brian Robbins at all. He's a big person, and I think he works for CCAR now, but he would go to my doctor's appointments with me to make sure that I was just getting buprenorphine and not Adderall and all those other drugs that you could get, and it was really somebody who cared about you. And I think that's the whole recovery movement is having somebody who you can feel meaningful relationships again. There's so
Speaking of meaningful relationships, Maddie O'Malley says, "What's up, guys?"
What's up, Maddie?
Thought that was a good excerpt for that.
Good segue.
I just think it's so, like, even your Sunday nights at 7, you're building a community, right? And
Right.
it's all about community and helping other people don't pull up the ladder once you get in the life raft, and to be able to give out to people. Where I work, it's really low barrier, I guess they call it, and there's a lot of people dying every week. They're living outside, and it's mass cas. And I don't know if you've driven by there lately. It's pretty horrific.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I think we really got to figure out what we're going to do with all of that too. But I just think that as people in recovery, and the stigma piece that really kills us all is I think I have 8 years now without a relapse, but I don't celebrate it like everybody celebrates their thing, just because. And I really think it's great to celebrate it, but all of my friends like who celebrate it and then they lose it, it's like I don't know. Sometimes you can't get them back, and I'm just wondering to myself, is it because of what is it? You guys
Is it
would know.
shame? You think it's shame?
They're the
Like,
shame. So it's like, even though all you have is a day, but we
right.
make such a big thing about graduating from drug court and everything else. As soon as people leave, they stop answering their phone, right? As soon as they start using. So that's when it been my biggest struggle as a recovery coach is the people that relapse. And it'd be interesting to hear even from you guys. How do you deal with that? You keep calling, eventually they call you back, or what do you think is the best way to handle that?
I
You know,
think I think like you said, you leave that open space for them and just know when they're ready that you're there for them. You're there. If they're not ready, just it's for someone to talk to keep that community connection with you. But you're always I always send people texts and who I know are struggling, who have relapsed.
Right.
Just always just a reminder that, hey, if you do want someone to talk to, if you do want someone to walk with you through this, that we're here. I'm here, you're here. Just I think that's leave that open for dialogue, like leave that conversation piece available and open.
So
and just
your
that
mom said that Kaio says hi, Dad.
Yeah, I can hear him.
You can hear.
He's yelling. Yeah.
Sorry, that was cute, so I had to say it.
what about you, Jessica? What do you do with your people that that relapse, and you try to reach out back out to them, and they do it once a week, every other
I
day?
like this. Switch it on us. Switch the
Yeah,
question.
no, this is good.
Um, it's hard. I have people in my group, the meeting I go to every day that relapse. Some can't stop drinking or using, or some will put a couple days together, a couple weeks together, a couple months together. And just kind of like what Mike was saying, I try to make sure that to let them know I'm here regardless. Unconditional love, patience, tolerance, and unconditional love, and that I'm available.
Right.
I know that, especially with my sponsees, I know they're not going to call me before they pick up a drink or a drug. I know,
No.
but to know that they can turn to me after that drink or a drug, I think will build a trusting relationship, so that hopefully as time goes on, maybe they will pick up the phone before they start drinking, or before they start using, and just letting them know that they're valued and their life is valuable. I talk about it every week on the show. I lost a really good friend of mine in December. And one of the last things I said to him was, Mike, if you die, it's going to devastate me. And I thought that might have been but sometimes people are still in such denial about it that you can say whatever, you can say everything. I could have said to him, Mike, you're going to die in 3 days from an overdose. And when we're still in that, mindset of using, we think we're invincible. We think
Right.
that is not going to take us out. I'm a better, smarter drug addict than that idiot who died. That's not going to happen to me. I'm going to play Russian roulette, because that's all that's running the show, is me wanting to getting another high or another fix. So I guess just letting people know you're there and available, but sometimes it's completely out of your control if they keep relapsing or whatnot.
It was funny.
I,
I work at the South End Community Health Center, and I work for like these two nurse practitioners and these two doctors, and they told the doctor I had a relapse, but I'm embarrassed to tell Paul, and I'm the recovery coach.
Right.
right.
I'm gonna
Right.
disappoint him. I'm like, are you kidding? And it's like, and then eventually, I make contact, and I'm like, it's okay. I'm not gonna judge. And like, yeah, but we were doing so well, and blah blah blah, and I didn't want you to think that I wasn't trying. And I'm like, God,
I know
you know,
they're sorry
I
to
always
you.
and I always say, like, listen, you had a reoccurrence of your illness. Would you apologize for a reoccurrence of any other illness other than substance use disorder? Like no, you wouldn't. So why are you apologizing? I mean, you're responsible for your recovery, but if you relapse, that's a part of addiction. That's a part of the disease of addiction. Like it happens, you know, and now what are we going to do? How do we approach this? How do we fix this? Maybe we don't fix it. Maybe I just tell you that I love you. And like, when you're ready, we will, you know, and there's not always an immediate fix to relapses and reoccurrences. Like,
I always would say to people, this doctor said in all her years of being a physician, she never met somebody addicted who wanted to be an addict, right?
Right.
And then since 1956, the disease of addiction is primary, progressive, permanent, predictable, and terminal, right?
Yeah.
That was since 1956. So they know, how this shit works and how it's a brain disease. And because, if you use before 21, you don't have the regulation in your brain to make a rational. I still have an impulse control disorder. Somebody says, let's go to Vegas tomorrow. I'll be like, okay, I'll pack my bags because I still can't think everything through because, of using. So to know that you have an impulse control disorder, but to make sure that you actually remember it, though, is another whole thing, right?
So we actually have a question.
Yeah.
So Barbara Ahern said, how can people who do not have substance use disorder help to fight any stigma?
I think by the words that we use, I think a lot of it is about words. Stigma isolates individuals and families, encourages people to deny fatal illness, keeps people from seeking treatment, increases overdose relapse, relates in no or late prenatal care. Do you know that? How long have we been going now? 8, 9 goes into 28. 6 people died in the United States of a opioid overdose.
Oh my
Since
God.
we started the show. Yep. Yeah.
Every time I would give a speech, I would have a timer and it would go ding every 9 minutes. And I said,
my God.
somebody else just died in this country. So it's beating everything for overdoses and trying to maybe use languages, that people, would like to be used. You're not going to call somebody you retard, right? Not anymore. We're going to say you're developmentally disabled. If you want to call yourself an addict, a junkie, a crackhead, a user, abuser, a pill popper, an alcoholic, be right ahead. But I'm going to call you somebody with a substance use disorder. You know what
Can
I
I
mean?
ask you a question about that? How do you feel about when we're in meetings, if that's your pathway, which, as we always say, Greater Wealth and Recovery Solutions is all pathways. Say you're in a meeting. I know that when I'm in a meeting, I say, my name's Jessica, I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
No problem with that.
No problem with that.
As long as you're calling yourself that, I don't have any problem with what you call yourself. It's that, hey, here's Paul, he's a junkie. So I think we can still, use the terms, I've been a junkie for a long time, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But if you're going to talk about other people, use words that I think, that aren't as stigmatizing, You can say instead of, a risk, you can say of a misuse or other. They just changed the MAT. It's not medication assisted treatment. It's medication for addiction treatment.
Oh, okay.
So and there's another one that they're using now is MOUD, medication for opiate use disorder.
Yep.
Right.
I've heard that one too.
One that gets me. I hate this one. I pop dirty. Are you clean? Are you dirty? I'm like, I hate that one. I mean, are you clean? I'm like, I took a shower today.
Right.
But,
Julie also answered your question. She said, I try to reach out once a week for coaching if they pick up, just to let them know I'm still here. They don't have to be ashamed. And then Barbara Ahern said, it sounds like letting people know that others care for them helps. But what about people who aren't coaches, but just a part of the community helps? So her question was someone who doesn't have substance use disorder, that's just a person in the community. How can she help to fight the stigma of the disease of addiction?
I think educate, be a voice for people who, like if Barbara herself is a person who, wants to fight to destigmatize, I think she should, help educate others that are in the community who have those ill will or bad feelings towards addicts or people that suffer from substance use disorder, to soften the language, educate them about the language, and help people to realize that, dealing with an illness, and it should be accepted, and people should be tolerated for it with it.
Treated as such.
The worst
Treated
thing
as
I
an
hate to
illness.
hear is a baby born addicted. Babies don't have a choice to be an addict, right? They
Right.
may be born dependent. They may have neonatal abstinence syndrome, but they didn't go down the street and pick up a drug or a drink, right? So addicted babies, I hate that. So let's call them dependent, or or they have neonatal abstinence syndrome because their mom was on methadone or heroin or whatever. But to label a 2-day-old baby an addict is pretty freaking low, I think. And I hear it all the time. Look at all these addicted babies. I'm like, the definition of addiction is when you make there is free choice in addiction. I'm not saying that there isn't, but most of it is genetic.
Right.
I mean, why are we all sitting here talking when my two sisters aren't here because they don't have a substance use disorder?
Right.
Why did I get stuck with this? But I tell you, it is kind of genetic. I mean, it runs in families. My father had a problem with alcohol, but and my grandfathers both were alcoholics. So I mean, it's definitely genetic, but we still do have free will. But the way that drugs work in the brain, it just this is why some of the medication stuff I think really works, especially if you can't get to anyone any other way, because that brain is so set up just to want to use. And if you can replace that opiate receptor, with something, if it's methadone or buprenorphine, that's going to sit there. Remember, you can't get recovery if you don't have a breath, right? Heartbeat.
Right.
So I'm almost to the point where we got to keep everybody alive at some point, and at least so the people that they don't want to, and going to detox isn't treatment. It's going to detox. We got to get some treatment that actually is treatment. What I'm seeing is all these people on crystal meth that don't qualify for treatment.
Right.
And that's complete bullshit, I think, that we need to have a place for these people to rest. They're dying, of overdose.
Oh, crystal meth.
Yeah. They're
I
dying of
didn't know that.
overdose.
See, I didn't know you could overdose of crystal meth. Did you know that, Mike? I'm sure you knew that.
Plus,
Yeah, I'm sure there's what. Yeah, I mean, you could have a heart attack. You could do so much speed that your heart literally explodes.
we have a thing that I have. Have you guys ever heard of it? It's called the Canary app. So it's an app on iPhone. Go to your iPhones right now and look for Canary app.
Canary, like the bird?
Yeah, Canary. It's an app, okay? This is an app that you can set, and you can put it in your pocket. You can put it in your pocket when you're asleep, right? If you stop breathing, it'll text your mom, your friend, the person down the street, 911, that you haven't moved in 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, and it will know just by being in your pocket. So it's a kind of a cool app. It's I can show it to you, I think. And then there's another one that's called Never Use Alone. All right, here's the Canary app. Can you guys see it?
No.
Too yellow?
Yeah, too white.
Too black. I see it there. I see
Canary.
it. Yeah.
Canary. There it is. So you set it, and then you can text whoever you live with. You know how many kids die in the next room to where their parents are?
That's what happened to my friend. It was the Saturday football game, and he was doing the dishes, and his dad, he goes, I'm going upstairs, I'm going to do laundry. Okay. And his dad said, you coming back down to watch the game? And he never made it down. Now, to hear that, like, that there could have been something to have helped that, it just, you never know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. So if I knew somebody was using it in my house, I'd say, you got to have the Canary app on in your pocket, or you can't stay here, maybe.
Right. I love that.
That's pretty reasonable, right?
Absolutely.
At least you're not going to be bothered unless they start. And you get a warning sign if you try this out, like in 30 seconds ago, beep, beep, beep. Are you still okay? And if you don't hit it, send a text. And then there's another one I can send you guys the link to. It's called Never Use Alone, that we just started using. And it's an 800 number. And if you're going to do some dope or something, you can call it and somebody will stay with you while
Wow.
you use the whole time.
I
Wow.
love that.
If you go down, they're going to call 911 and tell them where you are. Look at a friend of mine just died last week in a bathroom in a gas station, you know?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
And we haven't even been to the funeral yet. And I knew his mom, and it's like, how many more funerals can we
I
freaking
know.
do, you know? It's killing all of us.
Linda Hanley Powell, who's a member of our team, said, "Thank you for saying that. It sickens me to hear a baby called addicted." Julie said to the Barbara, she said, "Join a coalition in your town or around your area that deals with substance use disorder or a task force." And Barbara said, "Thank you for so many good ideas. I belong to online groups and I try to give encouragement whenever I can." Thank you, Barbara.
Perfect.
From the
Thank you for
recovery
being an
community,
ally.
we appreciate it. Yeah, we
And I
appreciate
love the fact that you guys are on the Healing Community Study, you know,
Yeah.
which is that 16 and I think to reduce opiate overdose by 40%, right?
right.
And there's all kinds of money and action programs into it. And we probably don't have time to explain the whole thing, but you guys can when you talk to your friends.
Yeah, right. Well, the three things are Narcan distribution, stopping overprescribing, and MOUD. So medication. What is it?
MOUD. I got to write that down.
It's
medication for opiate use disorder.
Yeah, medication for opiate use disorder.
And they call Narcan distribution like some other thing, right?
No,
It's like, I don't know what
I don't know what they call it either, but they do call it something else.
Yeah.
Naloxone.
Yeah, it's like the Narcan distribution.
Yeah,
blah,
something
blah, blah.
like that. Some long. I always get naloxone and naltrexone. I always my brain just can't compute.
They're all the same thing. You know, people always ask, you know, why is it so hard to go from methadone to buprenorphine, right? And nobody really understands that buprenorphine is really kind of a safe drug.
Blocker. Yeah.
Because it has a ceiling effect, right? So it's a partial agonist, and methadone is a full agonist. So when you're on methadone and you take Suboxone or buprenorphine too early, it kicks all the methadone off their receptor and puts you in withdrawal. We've all done this.
The worst thing in the
We've
world.
all done it. Yeah.
Oh,
Right, we've all done it. But if
there's nothing you can do.
You could sweat it. You could sweat it out in about 2 hours.
Oh, it's bad though. It's not
2
fun.
days it took me to sweat it out.
It's 2 hours. Please.
Well, until you can use. I sweat it out in 2 hours, and then I go get high.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why you have to wait until you're in withdrawal to take it, or be on short actings. You know what I mean? Long methadone lasts 36 and a half hours. You know, and the danger of methadone is, you know, for people who just start, you know, some people just start just because they think they want to get high on methadone.
Or they don't want to be sick. You know, that's why I joined. I didn't want to be sick anymore. You know, and I thought that I could do both.
But it's, you know how they start you low and slow? You know, they get like 30. Because if you ever came in and you lied and said you were naive, 30 could kill you, you know?
30 could kill you, right?
And people say, how long should you be on methadone for? My answer is long enough.
Yeah.
What dose of methadone should you be on? Enough.
Enough.
Right. Enough. That's it. Those are the two rules on that. I mean, and I learned this I met the guy who invented methadone. A lot of methadone myths we can dispel too. It doesn't rot your teeth, even though my cap did.
I don't believe that. Fail. I don't believe it. No way.
My teeth are falling out because I never went to the fucking dentist.
Right. You neglect your self-care.
I have a cap that fell out this week, and try to get a dentist appointment during COVID. It's almost impossible. Another $2,000 for this thing that keeps falling out. Thank God for wearing masks at work. I've been able to.
I would have loved that when my teeth were all messed up. I could have just put my mask on.
To do this, I'm like trying to stay to this side so you guys don't see it. I was gonna wear a mask, but I was like, fuck it, I just won't.
You're fine.
So anyway, I really think that's important. Hitler did not discover methadone. That's not true.
I didn't know that myth.
Oh yeah, that was.
I knew that myth. Yeah.
You knew that myth.
Did you think it was true?
Your organs green. What happened?
I don't even care if it was true.
1941, they ran out of morphine, and Germany, I think it was after Hitler was dead, developed synthetic morphine when it was called methadone. So that's how basically it's a long-acting medication that has been used for a lot of stuff. Another thing that's interesting is people who are on buprenorphine or Suboxone. I don't like to say Suboxone because I don't like to give the drug company the
I
promotion.
noticed that.
Right. I like that.
Because you kept saying buprenorphine and I said Suboxone, and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Because you know why? Because they're under a lawsuit right now for saying a bunch of lies about stuff. So just like everyone, they kept the generic from going onto the market for 4 years and kept the price up. So anybody that had to pay high copays for 4 years and they were on Suboxone can join a lawsuit to get all your copay money back.
Yeah, because you shouldn't have to do that. Because I work for Column Health, and
Right.
so we don't charge copay. There's no copays for that, especially if you're on Mass Health.
Right.
And I know there's plenty of little Suboxone shops that you could go. Here's $40.
Buprenorphine shop.
Buprenorphine. Well, no, because it's I guess so.
Sublocade.
Buprenorphine shop.
Well, that's still under the brand because they haven't run out of it. That's called Sublocade.
Okay.
Shots, and they hurt those shots. Let me tell you, I had one of them, and it's in your stomach. Have you seen? You guys do the Column Health?
We do not do Sublocade yet.
Yeah, that's tricky stuff to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I met you. I interviewed there when Deirdre was still working there.
Oh, that was she's been with BSAS a long time.
So I interviewed for them in Somerville.
It would have been with me.
The whole team comes in to meet you.
Oh yeah.
I met the janitor. I met the head therapist and the owner guy who's into Teams.
Colin.
Is that his name?
The CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teams. Everything was about teams.
Yeah.
Everything on the wall was a rowing.
Oh
team.
yeah.
What's going on with this Teams? He said, "Do you notice anything about our artwork?" And I said, "Teams." He said, "Good answer."
Oh, I know they have artwork that makes you use your brain.
Where is Column Health the one where medication assist for addiction treatment doesn't suck?
Yeah, that's it.
Stigma stops here.
Stigma stops here.
Addiction treatment that doesn't suck, which some
like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up one where buprenorphine doesn't blow. All this come up with other. But no, you guys have a pretty good reputation there.
Yeah.
So congrats on that. Better than that clean slate.
Oh Jesus! Hey, can you tell us some positives about being on Sublocade?
Well, it was just getting the shot once a month, but I was on 3 refills, so the positive was that I never went back and I never got sick again.
Right.
But I mean, Sublocade is great for people that divert, right? Or if you're having somebody that comes back and their urine doesn't even have buprenorphine in it, you might be having a problem, right?
Yeah,
So you're treating them for Suboxone, and then they come in to do their UA, and it's negative for buprenorphine.
Right.
I think they might be a good candidate for the Sublocade.
For Sublocade, yeah.
Yeah. Or people that, I think diversion, believe it or not, saves lives in a weird way, because
I can see that.
2 friends that were the biggest heroin addicts ever, and they would get one of those stop sign buprenorphines. Remember those orange pills?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to, but yes.
Anyway, all right. So
those aren't a thing anymore. Wait.
They have the films now.
They have the film now. So they would get one of those, and they could make it last a month, right? So we know you probably need less of it than what they say, right? Because that worked for them. But I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. But I'll probably need one after this Zoom with you guys.
Oh, I used to find pieces all over. I would snort it. Oh my God. That orange taste. Oh.
That orange taste like baby aspirin, but worse.
Oh, worse.
Way worse. Yeah.
So I met this dude that got 1 pill a week, right? Been on heroin for 10 years. By getting on Suboxone from his friends, he now is off of heroin, has a job, bought a house, and has 2 kids from diverted buprenorphine.
So when you say diverted, what do you mean?
I mean that one of his friends gave him a pill.
He sold them to his friends, or his friends gave them to him.
Gave it to his friend. Yep. Or I could, we don't even say diverted now. We say they're on non-prescribed.
Non-prescribed street Suboxone.
Yeah. And there's so much of it out there because we all know
It's
as people
overprescribed.
with
Yeah.
substance use disorders, are you going to pay for that kind of a high from buprenorphine? It blows. Believe
It
Yeah.
me.
blows. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
like
a
a
weird,
desperate
weird high.
down in the
Yeah.
dumps.
Oh,
Can't,
come on.
can't
Right.
reach a dope dealer, got a piece of Subox, and that's when you go to that.
And
My PCP used to prescribe me 8 milligrams a day. So I got I was lucky enough to divert 8 milligrams a day
Get some
right.
cheddar
and
cheese.
put some money in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's the way half the people pay their rent, unfortunately. But I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to people to get high necessarily. It's for people who maybe not be able to get treatment.
Right. Or
Right.
people that are sick or whatever.
I'm not like, I know everyone's against it being diverted, but here, talk amongst yourselves. I have a great day to kill.
Ah,
There goes your lawsuit again.
I know. How's it going?
Any comments?
No comment. So if anyone's watching, we have about 10 minutes, right?
We get about 10, yeah.
So
This
if
is
anyone
going
has
good. A
any
lot of
comments for us-
education.
yeah, this is great. A lot of, pro MOUD
A lot of MOUD stuff. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Like we keep saying, all pathways, reach out to us if you need any assistance. Yes, and we're back.
Paul, how do you feel about MARA, Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous?
I like it. I know that they're trying to get all their stuff done, and the guy's writing his book, and I've been to a couple of their meetings. Hey, I'm all for community, right?
Right.
It doesn't judge. So I think they have a really good place, and but when I go to some of these all recovery meetings, I think they mean AA or NA, all recovery. You know what I mean? They
Right.
don't mean like all recovery.
I
you
think
know?
maybe they start all recovery and then they like have a shift somewhere along
And then
Yeah.
turn
along the line.
AA or NA.
Yeah. So I was like, what is this all recovery? Because I went to them. I used to go to the ones at at the Divine House Center, whatever, the one in South Boston.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I've been
divine
really,
recovery.
spending time like we have one in Quincy. I live in Quincy, so we have that New Way or whatever the hell it's called,
Yeah,
New Beginnings or something.
I think it is New Beginnings.
New Beginnings, but that's a pretty cool place too. And these places,
It's really nice. They have they do gardening there. They do
yeah,
all
we just
sorts
got to
of
get
stuff.
it reopened, full time or whatever.
I know.
So I started my recovery coaching at Mass General. I left Department of Housing and Community Development and and I was the only recovery coach in a 220 bed unit at Mass General Hospital in the emergency department. And my
Wow.
office was next to where they told people their kids had died. Okay. So it was trauma all day long. So they would tell them your kid died of an overdose. They would pine the walls. They would scream. It would be, I left it in 9 months because it was just so much death.
Yeah.
And it's really not coaching. It's like, when people are pretty intoxicated. I mean, I did as much as I could there, and I love working there. It's just the amount of people that came in that were on, And another thing is the people that, are getting endocarditis, you guys,
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but people are not getting treatment. They have this thing called one and done. So if you have a heart valve replaced, right, and you go out and use because you're relapsed, you're not getting another one.
Another one, right. I heard about that.
Palliative care. All right. 22-year-old guy. He promised he wouldn't use again. He did everything. And the doctor said, we're not giving you another heart valve. They sent him to a nursing home, gave him end of life care, and he died 2 weeks later. It's like, would we do this to any other effing disease? Let people die like this? Some fat person kept eating Twinkies and they had another heart attack. Would we say, you're not getting another triple bypass, you fat F? No. We would give them treatment. So we have to be advocates for the people that are using. It's like I have people with HIV. HIVs are like running crazy in Boston right now, right?
Is it? See, I didn't know that.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's way up. And people, it's sad. I have some people that don't even want to be treated for it because their lives suck that bad.
All right.
So it's just, it's really sad out there. and I don't know what they're going to do. You know what I think that they're going to do and really scares me is they just added 100 beds to Section 35 in Taunton for men, right?
Really?
Another 100 beds in Worcester. Maybe we're just going to round everybody up and throw them in the institutions again.
So
Like
let me ask you
Catholic,
a
yeah.
question about that. So, you know, you see on the news lately that the people who live near Recovery Road, Methadone Mile, you know,
Yes, yeah.
MA-HCS, they want something to be done. You know, they're protesting about it. Now, what's your opinion? So they want to reopen the island, right? And I've seen they have the great plans for all that. But my only thing is what are they going to shift them away so it's out of sight, out of mind again? What's your take on that? That they should open the island again, or what do you think?
I don't think that island's going to open unless they give Quincy $1 billion.
I agree.
I live on the road to the island. I mean, would have no problem with them opening it, but like you said, what are we going to hide it? They've got to do something. But the problem is, Jessica, Mike, is we have a MA-HCS in Brockton. We have one in Lowell. We have one in Holyoke. We have one in Springfield. We have one in Lawrence. We have one in Brockton. This isn't a Boston problem.
No.
Right.
It's in LA. It's in San Francisco. It's in Seattle.
It's in Florida. It's in everywhere. New Jersey.
So everyone thinks it's MA-HCS. That's a lot of shit. It's not.
That's a lot of shit, right?
It's systemic. And what are we going to do? We're people in recovery. We have a voice. We need to go there and say, I don't know. You guys got to figure this out. They have that Shattuck property, right? How come they haven't, built anything over there yet?
I know.
Right?
I was just curious because we talk about all this stuff and
they could renovate that and give it make it some comfortable treatment for mass health, people on Medicaid, Medicare.
No, absolutely. We got to do something. When they opened the East Boston Pavilion during COVID, that was a lot. And
you can say hi. This is Paul, and Mike.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Good job boxing a few weeks ago.
He was bummed out too yesterday. He's like, what? He's like, why was boxing canceled?
Oh, he's coming back. Good. We got a repeat client. I love it.
Are you a repeat client? Okay, now shoot. A few more minutes. Go about your business.
But I just think it's, I don't know, you guys. We got to figure out something, and we have to just keep showing up. I know Julie does the more stuff, and they do so much, but
right.
I just think we have to hold people accountable. We were the last state to get the homeless off the street. New York City put them off the street. They were the last ones that got into hotels during COVID. They should have been the first ones off the street, right?
Right.
Every hotel room in Boston is empty.
I know.
I need to tell a little bit about my recovery. I put up a picture of me with this horse. Did you see it? My picture that I put up for this meeting tonight. So
oh yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
You didn't
yeah,
see
on the link.
Oh, okay.
Me holding this big Clydesdale, and anyway, I 8 years ago started an apprenticeship to be a Boston horse and carriage driver, and with my Great Dane and everything else, that horse therapy really made my recovery better.
And there you are.
Yeah, there I am. So yeah, that's it. You got it.
There we go.
Do you still participate in equine therapy?
Yeah.
Nice.
So but I really would love to bring that to Boston. Those draft horses do nothing all day long except sit around and eat hay.
Yeah.
Them to do equine therapy, and a friend of mine's trying to get some kind of thing built, but I just saw this one that goes into hospitals. It's really big horse. I put it on my Facebook thing. If you guys check it out, and it's this horse. It's and he visits sick kids, and I don't know how they have trained.
A miniature horse?
It's a therapy horse.
But it's probably a miniature horse.
No, he's big.
He's a full size horse,
and it's on Australia, but he's really calm. And he goes right up to the beds, and he puts his face down, and the people cry, or they.
You got a little horse right there.
Yeah, and I know
He's about horse.
won't be
Even horses that can't quite make the police department, they get euthanized. So if people, if someone wanted to purchase a horse from a police department who couldn't quite make it on the team, you could.
one of the horses that we have is an ex-Boston police horse,
Yeah,
and he's insane, and he's dragged me around Boston many times. He likes to hold people against a wall still, I don't know what they taught him, but he's like biggest horse we have. So the captain was, I guess, quite big. So they needed a big horse.
He had to hold him up.
Police horses anymore, in Boston. They got rid of the mounted unit a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they need to bring it back, right? Maybe that would be good.
Yeah, that would be.
People. But it's really interesting driving a horse and carriage through town because you get to see, where all the homeless people are, living, and because you're at a different height, you're up above and you can see where people sleep at night and different things like that. But I think that the most important thing to say is if people are going to take buprenorphine or methadone or, Vivitrol, support them through it and don't give them shit.
Boom.
About getting off until they're ready to get off. Eventually they'll get off if they're just doing it right. I mean, if they're asleep the whole day, they're not doing it right. If they're using other meds, you may want to talk to them about what's going on. I've met a bunch of people on methadone. They don't nod out all day long.
Nope.
Granted, an hour and a half after you take it, you're a little sedated, right?
You get a little buzz.
And you want to
buzz.
I think I gained 50 pounds my first year on it.
Oh, yeah.
The sugar thing kicks in.
But I still do the sugar, even
crushing ice cream.
I have my Milanos. You can probably see them over there. I got Chips Ahoy on this side, and I got Milanos on the other side.
Dunkin' Donuts on my way home from the methadone clinic.
Yeah.
A lot of cheese, a lot of pizza.
Yeah, tons of carbs.
Cheese and pizza. Not sugar.
Yeah, the dough converts into sugar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The gluten converts into sugar, yeah.
And another big thing too is to never say to someone who's on medication assisted treatment, "You're not clean," or "You're." I know
that's clean. A bad one, yeah.
Because I remember years ago it was said to me, and I turned around and I relapsed and got high. Right. I was in meetings. I was honest about it. This was like 10 years ago, and
I think they really would be nice if they would look at the NA rule 19 around, people who are on MAC can't talk at meetings,
Right.
And that's hard because that makes people not want to go to those meetings,
Right.
Or you can't get a keychain because they're on methadone or buprenorphine, I remember I went to get my 3-month keychain. They said, "Aren't you still on Suboxone?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, you can't have one."
That's what happened when I had my 1-year anniversary. Someone said, "Well, what are we celebrating? Aren't you still on methadone?"
Oh, fuck you.
And I stopped,
exactly.
Stopped going to meetings, and what happened? I relapsed. Right.
Yeah.
And
could have died. Yeah.
I could have died. I could have overdosed and died.
So even Vivitrol, they won't let you be on.
That's wild to me. That's absolutely wild. It's all wild to me, but the Vivitrol one is really mind-boggling.
Yeah, because nobody's can't abuse that stuff. Right?
Yeah, and
I think the people that are on the World Conferences, but some of my best friends are NA people. They're because they got it together. You know what I mean? They're part of my community. And I even go to some of the meetings sometimes. But and I go to the Zamara meetings, or all recovery meetings, and it's been really cool. And now Sunday nights at 7 is my main thing.
Well, Paul, this has been.
We got the Paul Bowman stamp.
And this has been amazing. I think this is huge for anyone who is on MAT. To just know you're in recovery when you say you are.
Right.
I like that. I like
that from my one-liner of the night.
Yeah, I like that.
And, to just reach out to us. And clearly, Paul is a wealth of information. So if you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll get you connected with him.
Yeah, definitely get me connected.
Yeah, he rocked it.
And and you guys definitely come to the Housing Learning Collaborative for the whole eviction thing, which is going to.
That's my little puppy.
Oh. It's adorable. So cute.
Yeah, she's a little biatch.
So I know. Talking about a big bitch over there.
Yeah.
And come to the Learning Collaborative on the housing stuff, you guys. So we know
Absolutely.
what are we gonna do when this moratorium lifts? Everyone's gonna lose their housing
I
or
know.
lose their home. So that's gonna be a huge issue. All right, it's already 8:00. I'm gonna
Yeah.
shut up. Thank you so much for
Here.
having me.
Yeah.
Hey, you did amazing. Thanks for being on the show, Paul. We're grateful for you.
Thank you,
Michael?
guys.
Michael. Wait.
All right, and guys, just remember, go Patriots and leave the world a better place than you found it.
Go Cam.
Go Camp.
Boo Brady.
Bye, guys.
Today, Brady. He won. Oh, unbelievable.